Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 18th City Council meeting. It's great to have a full audience. I need to make an announcement before we start the meeting. The time is now 6:30 p.m. and the executive session has been concluded. Will all the participants in the executive session please state their names for the record?
Catherine Nakai.
Terry Baldwin.
Jeffrey Gear.
George Jones.
Steve Smith.
Aaron Vassiletti.
Nina Williams, and also Special Counsel Andrew Ringel.
And Kelly
There.
Pace.
And
Suzanne Leclerc.
Thank you. If any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I ask that you state your concerns now. Thank you. Hearing none, Suzanne, please take the roll to call for the council meeting.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. Mayor Case,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nakai,
here.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Here.
Councilmember Gear,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that takes us to item 3, ceremonies, presentations, and appointments. And item A is a presentation and proclamation declaring April Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we have with us the CEO of Community Partnership, Jody Mejeres, and Director of Teller County Public Department of Human Services, Kim Moth. You want me to read it first, or you want to do your presentation first?
We'll go first, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we begin, we just wanted to congratulate all of you on your new terms or your continuing terms and your new team here. We recognize it's a challenging time to lead, and we appreciate you willing to serve our community in this capacity. So thank you. My name is Jody Mejeres. I am the CEO of Community Partnership Family Resource Center. And with me today, we have Kim Mothi. She's the Director of Teller County Department of Human Services and my awesome colleague and partner in providing prevention services for families and children in Teller County. Also with me today is Santos Perez. He is one of Community Partnership's parent participants, one of the amazing parents that my team and I have the privilege of working with every day at Community Partnership.
So Jody and I each lead very different agencies who come together to provide over $1 million a year in prevention programs and services for children and families in Teller County. The three of us here today to spread awareness of the importance of preventing child abuse and neglect in our community.
Yep. And I just wanted to give some background before you read the proclamation. The month of April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the symbols of this awareness campaign are the color blue and pinwheels. So this time of year, you may see gardens of pinwheels planted around our community. The photo up on the screen is the one at Community Partnership. And what pinwheels represent are the bright childhoods that we all want for children.
And I did want to add, we are going to be from the county, and for the chief to know that tomorrow we're going to do a procession of white county cars with blue flags on them, and they will be going throughout the community.
As community as community members, our most basic obligation is to support the healthy development of the children of our community. When we invest in healthy child development, we are investing in community and economic prosperity, because great childhoods allow children to grow into productive, contributing adults for our future. And building healthy communities takes work. We all have a responsibility to ensure that children have positive experiences and that families have the resources that they need when they need them. Together, we can put families first and help relieve some of the overload that parents and caregivers experience. And on that note, we have a parent and caregiver from our community, and he has prepared some remarks from that perspective that we would like for him to share with you. Yes? Okay, thank you.
Hello, guys. My name is Santos Perez, and I'm a resident here in Woodland Park and an active participant in 2 of the programs, the Nurturing Families programs and also the PAT program. And being a part of these programs, they have empowered me with the tools needed to succeed. And while the group classes, they've also helped me to build upon myself as a nurturer in the group setting, and also advocating our experiences as parents. It helped me to build my strengths, all while learning and making new connections in our rural community. The amount of growth within myself and in my family is amazing, and I'm very appreciative for all I've had access to. This all has helped me to have a brighter and optimistic outlook on the future for the kids, the next generation of our community. Thank you.
We may have a couple of community partnership people in the audience. Anyway, thank you, Santos. We're super proud of the work that our parents do in improving their lives and the futures of their children. It is really an honor to lead an organization like Community Partnership Family Resource Center that empowers parents and caregivers to do their very best job in raising our community's children.
And in conclusion, we have prepared a proclamation for April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and are grateful to have it read into the record of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, and I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. Proclamation: April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are vital to our community's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being our most valuable assets. And whereas the children deserve to have the safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities they need to foster their healthy growth and development. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas child abuse and neglect are serious problems affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families, and effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of their partnerships created between between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. That was a tough one. And
Sorry.
whereas communities that provide parents with the social support, knowledge of parenting, and child development, and concrete resources they need to cope with stress and nurture their children to ensure all children grow to their full potential. And whereas all members of a community benefit from creating conditions that support strong and healthy families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing community. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Woodland Park hereby proclaims April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Woodland Park, Colorado, and urges all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating themselves to improving the quality of life for all children and families. And I understand that you asked the council to come before the dais to take pictures with pinwheels.
Yes, please.
Council?
And I would like anyone with community partnership to join us. Get up there.
I'd get in trouble.
Behave.
Thank you, Kelly. I mean.
Fun. We should have given him a pin. Okay. All right, thank you. That was wonderful. And now we're on to item 3B, appointments to the Planning Commission, Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee and the Board of Review. Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor Case. This evening, council, before you, you have some appointments to consider. As for the new council, just so you know, that we continually advertise openings and vacancies for our volunteer boards and commissions, and hope in the hopes that we continue to get applications. And we've had a great return rate this month of applications. We have 3 this evening. The first one that I would like for you to consider is it's an application for the Planning Commission, and it's from Jared Newcomb, and he is with you, council, in the audience tonight, if you'd like to have him come up to the dais and ask him any questions.
Jared, would you like to join us at the dais, please? It's good to see you.
See you too.
Thank you. Would you like to just tell the council a little bit about why you've applied for the Planning Commission and what you bring?
Sure. So I've been a resident of Woodland Park for about almost going on 15 years now. I've really not been too involved in the community. And I just realized it's time for me to serve and to get involved. And so I was looking at different things around the community, and the Planning Commission just kind of caught my eye since my background is in mortgages and real estate. I began my career in real estate and mortgages about 20 years ago now. I started as an underwriter, And with that position, I've reviewed countless number of appraisals, residential appraisals, sometimes even commercial appraisals. Looking at surveys, looking at plats, looking at HOA documents, PUD documents, plats, all that kind of stuff. And so that just kind of, piqued my interest a little bit. So I went and online, I attended a couple of the planning commission meetings and just kind of watched what was going on, and just really felt like it would be a good fit for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Council, do you have any questions for Jared? Terry?
Yeah. You listed as your three priorities, the things that you see as priorities for the city: affordable and attainable housing, downtown commercial development, and water rights and availability.
Yes.
Can you give me an idea about what your idea is? What one of your ideas is for each one of those?
Yeah, so for affordable housing, that's kind of a loose term these days. There's not much that really is affordable. So I really kind of look at it more as attainable housing. I've looked through the city code and just some of the zoning, and I know there's things that can be done to where we can, open up and approve and look at developments that will help foster, younger families. Maybe they don't make as much income to be able to move into our community. I've heard and just seen more people moving out just because it's getting more and more expensive. And so I'd like to do what I can to, create some opportunity in that area. Downtown commission, I love our downtown. I'd love to see it grow and see it really flourish. And whatever I can do as a part of the planning commission to foster that and to make good decisions, to make wise decisions about what to move in and how to make that come to fruition. And the water rights is another thing, just with building, obviously the few developments that I've been a part of in real estate development, that usually seems to be the one issue that comes up quite a bit, and that takes a long time to get through. So I'm not exactly sure what I could do with the planning commission, but anything that can help in speeding that process along. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
I just,
Go ahead, George.
yeah, thank you. I just wanted to thank you
Yeah.
for applying. Having been on planning commission, I'm glad that the gap that I left is hopefully going to be filled. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have questions, council? All right. I'd look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Jared Newcomb to the planning commission.
I second.
All right. Any further discussion, council? Suzanne?
We can't.
We
I don't
can't
think
hear
we
you,
can hear you.
Susie.
My apologies.
There we go.
Mayor Case, one thing I did want to tell you is that I vetted Mr. Newcomb, and he meets the requirements to be on the planning commission. He lives in the city of Woodland Park and is a resident, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's been vetted properly.
Suzanne, what's the term that he would be taking?
I think, is Karen there, George? Because I would like for Karen to answer that if she's available.
She is.
I'm available, but not remotely prepared for that particular question. Thank you very much. Give me a minute or two.
That's okay. That's fine.
At
Well,
the most, it would be 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's what I can tell you is the maximum appointment would be, but exactly which term he's going into,
Okay.
Suzanne? So
Yes.
we have George's term
Yeah.
and then we have a vacant term,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to attempt to redo my motion if that's okay.
Sure, because you can dictate whether
I
you
can
want to
dictate
do
which, correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would like to make a motion to appoint Jared Newcomb to the vacant 3-year term.
Perfect.
I second.
All right. Anything else, council? Suzanne, would you please call the question?
Sure. Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Mayor, with your permission, when we conclude the appointments, may I do the oath of office to each individual?
Please. Thank you,
Okay.
Suzanne.
So we'll wait until you guys are done.
Okay. Our next board for appointment is Keep Woodland Park Beautiful, and we have Lisa Parnell. Suzanne, do you want to introduce this?
Sure. Many of you up on council may know Lisa. Lisa used to work in the planning department and was on staff and has recently moved back to the area. She lives in the town of Florissant, and being a city resident is not a requirement for the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee. We just welcome anybody that's willing to serve on that committee, and we're very excited. That committee is in need of volunteers. They're down to about 2 or 3 of them is all that's left on the committee. So we so appreciate Lisa being willing to apply and be accepted.
Thank you. Lisa, would you like to come up to the podium, please? It's good to see you. Welcome back.
Well, it's good to see you too. This is weird being up here as a, from the audience.
You want to
but-
give us a little history about yourself and why you would enjoy working with Keep Woodland Park Beautiful?
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, I used to work here in the city as the city planner. I started out as the technician, the planning technician, and then I moved up into a city planner position. And I've had quite a career in municipal government, done several different positions in municipal government. And I have a life change where I decided to go back towards federal government. So I am actually working for L3 Harris as a contracts manager and looking to get more in the federal government. But I still very much so miss municipal government for one reason. And that is that it's grassroots and it's very community. And I am at heart a community planner. That's what I went to school to do. And I loved this committee when I was the city liaison. I loved being on this board as a liaison. And there were several things that I couldn't actually do as a liaison. I could advise them, but I couldn't get involved in some of the things. So it's kind of nice to have the opportunity to do that. And also very nice just to be back. And I love Woodland Park, so I'd like to see it beautiful. And I love to get the community involved in things. That's my passion. So
Great, thank you. Council, do you have any questions for Lisa?
I have just one statement. It's not a question. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Terry?
I have a statement and a question. Your application and all about community involvement and bringing kids in to the system and helping them learn and grow and be a part of the community
yes,
resonated with me. I appreciate that. And my question is, what class are you taking on Thursdays?
it's a dance class.
A dance
Actually.
class? Okay, sorry.
Actually, over at Dana's Dance.
Oh, cool.
And so that's kind of a hobby for me. I don't mind you asking at all. I actually walked over from class, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Susan, would someone please give me a motion for Lisa?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Lisa Parnell Rowe to the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Board.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, Suzanne?
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Congratulations, Lisa. All right, and finally, we have an appointment to the Board of Review. Suzanne?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This evening, I'd like to introduce Cole Swanson to the council. He is with you in the audience this evening. He has his original application, he applied to be on 3 different committees. He meets the criteria to be on the Board of Review, which they are very excited to have a new applicant and a new person on their committee. So he is with you this evening to answer any questions you may.
Thank you, Suzanne. Well, would you like to come to the podium, please? Thank you. Welcome. And could you please share with the council a little bit about yourself and why you've applied?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I've worked in the building, supply and construction industry for a while. My job requires me to stay up to date on the latest code and standards. And so I'm eager to get involved in my local community, and it felt like a good fit for me.
Great, thank you. Council, do you have questions for Cole?
So
What's
I,
your name, Catherine?
I
Thank
have
you.
two questions. One, how long have you lived here?
Coming up on a year.
Okay, and what's your opinion of the three most pressing issues? One of them was we're experiencing rapid growth and development, which leads to increased pressure on existing infrastructure and resources. The board needs to review and update zoning and land use regulations to ensure the new developments are in line with the city's long-term vision, promote sustainable growth, and preserve the unique character of the community. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What your thoughts are?
Of course, I think it would be important to hear from the community, their opinion on that matter as well. It is definitely one of the most pressing issues I see for Woodland Park. There are a lot of people that want to live here. It's a beautiful place. So we want to make sure that the people that are coming and the people that are living here are taken care of accordingly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Terry?
Mine's not a serious question. What part of Texas are you from?
Actually from Alabama.
Close enough.
Is it though?
Is it though? There's a few Texans that we disagree.
Anything else, council? Thank you.
War Eagle.
I'd look for a motion, please,
I'll make the motion
to approve.
to
appoint.
approve and appoint.
Okay, thank you. A second?
Second.
Thanks, George. Right. Suzanne?
Thank you. Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes,
Case,
Yes.
Nakai.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Congratulations. And if you'd like to stay up here and the other two join, Suzanne would like to administer the oath to you all.
Absolutely.
She's
Sure,
on screen.
I would ask you just if you could face the monitor and I could administer the oath of office to you, please.
Aaron. Oh, Lisa left. Lisa left, Suzanne. We'll catch her another
Okay,
day.
well, I'll do the oath of office another time. Okay, gentlemen, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Thank you. And please state your name.
I, Cole Swanson.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties
the duties
of Board of Review and Planning Commission
of Board of Review Commission
of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of Woodland Park,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, gentlemen, and Kristen has your oaths of office for you to sign, and you are considered official now, and your department heads will be in touch with you as to when the next meetings are. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kristen is right behind you. All right, Suzanne, do we have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda tonight?
Not this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. That takes us to number 5, consent calendar. We have the March 2024 statement of expenditures.
Mayor, we skipped over the police department.
Oh. Okay, back up. Item 3C, forgive me, Chief.
No, you're good.
Police Department Awards and Swearing In Ceremony. Chief Deisler.
Oh, man.
I agree.
The first mayoral mulligan. Fantastic.
Woo.
Well, Honorable Mayor, Council, Madam Attorney, Madam Remote Clerk, Mr. Manager. It's always a pleasure to be able to spend some time up here with you all, because I know that time is often precious when we have these meetings, but it gives me always a great sense of pride to come before you to not only showcase some of the work that our good folks are doing, but also it's fun to introduce you to some new folks that we get amongst our ranks. One of the things that I've tried very hard to do over the last 2 years is to kind of put a new focus on how we bring the best and brightest into our ranks, and then not only include them, but train and mentor those folks who have been with us for a while now to get them on a pathway to be successful. I'm quite certain that when you see and meet the 3 folks that you'll meet tonight, when we swear them in, that you'll agree that we found 3 of the best we can. So the first thing I like to do is I like to do a couple swearing ins and get that part of the ceremony started. So if I can have Officer Greg Lang and Officer Michelle Reed come to the front, please. So I gather that one of them doesn't mind the limelight and one of them kind of avoids it. But yeah, here we go. So anyway, so that welcome friends, colleagues, family. We appreciate the fact that you were able to spend some time with us tonight, come out here and recognize these 2 folks who have recently joined our ranks. We're excited to have them here. And I'd like to just get started with a swearing in. And I'll start that now. And because I'm not ready to memorize anything at this point in my career, I am going to read it. So if you all will raise your right hands for me, Greg, if you want to just kind of step up, there we go. There you go. Just repeat after me. I state your name.
Hi, Greg Lang.
I, Michelle Reed,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances and charter of the City of Woodland Park.
and the ordinances and charter of the City of Woodland Park.
I will conduct myself with honesty and integrity,
I will conduct myself with honesty and integrity,
will serve my community with bravery and honor,
will serve my community with bravery and honor,
and will never betray the public trust.
will never betray the public trust.
I will faithfully perform the duties
I will faithfully perform the duties
of a Woodland Park police officer,
of a Woodland Park police officer,
which I affirm I am qualified for
which I affirm I am qualified
and now about to enter.
and now about to enter.
Congratulations, folks. So very quickly, I appreciate everyone. Very quickly, I'd like to invite Sarah up to the front with us. She's going to pin on Officer Reed's badge. So Greg can either hang out with us. There we go. And we'll do that. And everybody that's watched these has already heard my tacky joke, but I'm going to tell it to you again. Remember, don't stab her. Just stick it through the shirt, right? No blood. Okay. Well, you can, but. Yeah. Of course, we have some extended family in the audience. We're happy to have you all here. Thank you very much. You could be anywhere right now. You chose to be here with us, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to present each of you your plaques and your framed oath of office forms.
Thank you.
Come on up, get your picture, John. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Again, Officer Lang, Officer Reed, thank you all. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit now, and I'm going to take one of these back with me. We're going to do a couple of award presentations. But before we get to that, somebody else I'd like you to meet. And I think you'll find that when we start talking about him in just a second, that you'll see that not only his skill set and experience fits right in with what we're trying to do, but it also fits into our strategic plan. And all of you have received a copy of that. And if you've seen it, one of the big pillars of the plan moving forward is training and education of the officers. Paramount to success. If we don't have that, we will fail. And quite honestly, failure is not an option for me. So when we set out to find the best and the brightest, you've just seen some of the sworn officers. Now we're going to flip the switch a little bit. And I'd like you to meet Isaac Pedersen. Isaac, come on up. Those three travel deep and pay handsomely for this entourage. So, you know, in unconventional things oftentimes happen in this profession. And when I came here 2 years ago already, it was very important that we try to put the team together the best way we can. And quite honestly, there were many nights that, you know, we were all hoping to find some pathways to success there and kind of shorten the learning curve. And then I learned about this guy right here. And many of those folks who I spoke to are here to recognize the fact that someone of Isaac's caliber could have gone and worked anywhere, and yet he chose to come here. And if you look at any of the nodding in the audience, you'll see that this man has got over 2 decades worth of law enforcement experience in a multitude of disciplines, is a use of force instructor, recognized use of force instructor, skills instructor. When I tell you we have the best folks. What that means is that everybody wearing our uniform, everyone in our civilian ranks and our support ranks also now have the best possible person they have overseeing our training. So I'd like you to meet Mr. Isaac Pedersen, retired deputy sheriff, now our training manager for the police department. You all are more than welcome to cheer as loud for the awards as you did for them. Okay, so I'd like to move into some awards real quick. This is always a fun part for me, to showcase the service that our folks are giving to all of you and to the community. We're going to do all the awards at once for the sake of expediency. So I'd like to invite the following personnel to the front. Lieutenant Hank Christ, Officer Sam Dunbar, Officer Spencer Van Camp, and my support services manager, Jennifer Tobias. Come on up. Okay. So while these 4 individuals are joining us up front, we have a cross-section of our entire police department represented here. Jen is our support services manager, a longtime employee. She used to be our dispatch supervisor. Now her role has given her more duties. So not only is she running our dispatch center, she's taken on more roles in our department, but in this particular instance, she had a direct involvement in helping these 2 officers, Officer Dunbar and Lieutenant Chris, work a case back in early December of 23, when a young lady noticed that her husband had suffered a cardiac event and called for medical help. As many of you in the audience will know, oftentimes law enforcement will beat medics or fire personnel to scenes. And without turning it into a ribbing session, of course, we always do that with the firefighters. It's just because we're on the road, right? We get to things quickly. Fortunately enough, since we moved into the last 2 years with some equipment and whatnot to help these folks navigate their work, Lieutenant Chris and Officer Dunbar were able to arrive on scene pretty much with Jen in their ear, helping walk them through what she was experiencing. They applied an AED device to the gentleman. The AED did not advise a shock, which if you use an AED is interesting because it kind of puts you into now what moment. And I laugh, but in 33 years, I don't like to beat medics to medical calls. We're cops, right? But we're in the life-saving business, and that's what we do. The 2 gentlemen on the right performed flawlessly. They were able to work with the medics to get a rhythm back on the young man who was able to survive and still be with his family. So we're going to present all 3 of them with life-saving award plaques with our thanks, and we'll move on to the next award in just a second. Yeah. All right, certainly not least now, the next award we have is a Meritorious Service Award, and this is going to Officer Van Camp. Interestingly enough, both Spencer and Sam have just started into their 2nd year here and are doing a fabulous job. They're learning the job quickly, and I'm happy to see their progress, but every now and then something extraordinary happens, which causes us to recognize it. And that happened with Officer Van Camp on February 12th of this year. Some of you may have actually seen this case kind of unfolding over social media channels. And I don't know if it ever made the official news, but it certainly could have. I'll read this very quickly. Meritorious Service Award presented to Officer Spencer Van Camp in recognition of your exceptional performance resulting from your work on February 12th, 2024 during your response to a missing persons case where it was suspected a mother and her child were stranded in the winter weather. The interesting piece about this case is, if I remember correctly, she was an Amazon driver. And what was unique about that situation is that in his relatively young time on the road, Spencer was able to really turn over some rocks and investigate in a way that was really unconventional for a one-year officer. He involved Amazon. They were able to do some tracking. A lot of pieces came together to find this young lady and her it was her daughter, right, on the side of the road. Through your efforts and investigative skill, we were able to locate the missing subjects and get them the attention they needed. You are to be commended for your dedication to duty, willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty, and your commitment to excellence. Presented to you today with my thanks and my appreciation. Officer Spencer Van Camp, folks. Thank you. Yeah, the joke is don't give the Italian guy the microphone, but I'm taking it anyway. Very quickly, there they are. Folks, welcome. I'm happy to have all of you. To everyone up here, congratulations. Oh, they want pictures, so you're done. Come on up. Boss man's calling, come on up. To the award recipients, thank you very much for your work. We appreciate it. To the extended family, friends in the audience, thank you all very much for coming out and helping us recognize these folks, and we appreciate your time. Yes, I'm trying to put it down quick and get back there. Thank you all very much. We appreciate you.
Now that we're done with all the fun stuff, on to consent calendar. Item 5A is the approval of the March 2024 Statement of Expenditures, and B is approval of the April 4th, 2024 regular city council meeting minutes. Counselor, would you like to consider any of these separately, or can we take them together?
Let's take them together.
Okay, could I have a motion, please?
Can I make a motion to approve both items on the consent calendar?
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Yes, Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, council. And that takes us to item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Suzanne, do we have anyone?
We do. We have the first speaker this evening, Mayor Case's Suzanne Patterson.
All right, Suzanne?
Okay.
Welcome.
Evening, Honorable Mayor, and board members. I just wanted to give you a quick shout out about what's going on in the Woodland Park School District. And I'll break it down by schools. Our elementary schools, Columbine. The third graders at Columbine recently presented their biology bottle projects. Each student chose a notable person to research, write a short essay about, and create a model of him or her using a 2-liter bottle. Now, I don't think any of us were were nominated, but some of the people were Neil Armstrong and Taylor Swift. So also at Columbine, we had an art show and maker fair. It will be held on Monday, April 29th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and I encourage everyone to come. Students, they have been learning about many aspects of space in the media and library classes. And you will see rockets, space helmets, robotics, space rovers, and even a mission to Mars. So bring your friends and family and see what our students have been up to. Now at Gateway, the K Kids organized a clothes and blanket drive. And thanks to their dedication and the generous spirit of our school community, they collected over 20 bags of clothes and blankets, and donations were given to the Colorado Springs Rescue Mission. And they're ready to bring smiles and comfort to all these people that they're going to be donated to. At Summit Elementary, the Summit students read enough minutes during the readathon to send Mrs. Rexford all the way up to the top of the rope during the celebration assembly. She even wore the beautiful feathers that they each decorated to help her reach the tops. So we all encourage our students to keep reading. So the Woodland Park Middle School band rocked the stage at the annual Colorado High School Sports Association. Our 7th graders gave an incredible and well-prepared performance and earned a good rating. And they shined even brighter in the sight reading with an excellent rating. Our 8th graders received an excellent rating in both categories. The Woodland Park Middle School, also the jazz band, hit all the right notes at the Pikes Peak Jazz Festival, which was hosted at the Mitchell High School. And their performance earned them an excellent rating. And congratulations to our Woodland Park Middle School League champion wrestlers. A special shout out to the Temperance and Ryan, our first place league champions. And also at the Woodland Park Middle School, the cheerleaders soared to new heights at the Denver Worldwide Spirit Association cheer competition. And here's how they did. Team stunt was 2nd place, dual performance 1st place, individual route 1st place. And at the high school, at the large group festival, our talented Woodland Park High School choir showcased their skills at the Doherty High School and received ratings that we were all proud of. The men's ensemble received a good rating for their performance and an excellent rating for their sightseeing. Select ladies ensemble pulled off straight superior ratings for both their performance and sightseeing. And so the track team currently has numerous athletes qualified for state, and 28 athletes have moved into the move up to the Woodland Park High School all-time top 10 list, not hit list. Okay. Currently, the class of 2024 has earned $2,386,000 in scholarship funds. That total number is growing weekly as more students share their scholarship information. So district-wide, some of our schools are in the second week of the CMAS testing, with the high school and Merit Academy students taking the PSAT and the SAT exams this week. Next week, some of our students will conclude testing with the science portion of the CMAS testing, which only our 5th, 8th, and 11th graders take. Other schools are finished with testing and will administer makeup tests. And also I wanted to give a shout out to Merit. The upper school students are working with the Department of Wildlife and tracking turkeys to study their patterns and to test for turkey health. And the grammar students are hosting a medical center where they will talk about the human anatomy systems they learned in about science. And we wanted to invite you all. The high school graduation is at the high school football field. And it is May 25th at 10 a.m. and the parade will follow the ceremony. So I thank you for this time to share with you what's going on in the school district. And thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Anything-
Mayor. The next speaker is Jerry Penland.
Jerry?
Good evening.
Welcome. Good evening.
Jerry Penland, Woodland Park. As our city attorney told us at the last meeting, a group called Teller County Short-Term Rental Alliance has now sued the city of Woodland Park. We have all been sued. Woodland Park citizens expect the city to be proactively working to provide the alliance's individual names so we know who is wasting our taxpayers' dollars. The citizens are with our city council, you, to fight this lawsuit using every means at your disposal, including our unrestricted fund balance. Our money will be well spent to protect our zoning laws and our property rights. Based on short-term rental restrictions all over Colorado, if this alliance wins the lawsuit, our city will become a Colorado sanctuary city for short-term rental investors from all over the world forever. We know that some, if not all of you, fought the citizens ordinance during major battles that lasted over a year. Battles that were won by the citizens, that put the citizens' common sense ordinance into law. Those battles were over on this December 12th, when over 70% voted against the city council ordinance. This lawsuit is trying to subvert the citizens' strong voice on December 12th. The Alliance wants to put an STR ordinance into law that is even worse than the one the citizens overwhelmingly rejected. On April the 4th, by your oath of office, you are now on our side to fully support the citizens' initiative that is now our STR law. No matter what your personal opinion is or was during the previous STR battles, you now represent us to fully support all of our ordinances, including our city STR ordinance. We have no privy to anything you discuss in executive sessions. However, your actions will clearly let us know if you are honoring your oath of office and which side of the new battle you are on, the citizens or the alliance that sued us. We're watching and expect your total support to protect our neighborhoods, to protect our city, and to protect our property rights from those who want to subvert what the citizens put into law. You are now our elected officials to fight this new battle with us, not against us. Are you really 100% with us this time? Thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Mayor, the next speaker is Tim Northrop.
Tim? Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. First off, I want to congratulate each of you on your position in City Council.
Thank you.
And I'm praying for you that you'll lead the city well. Thank you. Second, I know you're very busy getting adjusted. That must be really busy. But I want to remind you that there was a mess that was left on the table from the previous City Council, and it needs to be cleaned up. The ordinance to repeal the 1.09 sales tax is sitting rotting on the table. My understanding of this reason for this ordinance was to threaten the school board into signing the IGA. Well, the IGA is signed, it's done, as of last month. Why are you continuing to threaten the school board? Why are you leaving the teachers not knowing if they have a job? Why are you affecting the students and parents wondering if they have a school to attend to? I urge you to pick up this ordinance, pick it up off the table, dismiss it, throw it in the trash without further consideration. You can even start that process this evening if you want to. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final speaker this evening, Mayor, is Mac McVicker.
Mac? Well, you do have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
First, congratulations to the newly elected members and the new mayor.
Thank you.
I know two of you, the other four I don't. My name is Mac McVicker. I'm chairman of the Board of Review. It's under the building department, which is headed up as part of the planning duties of Karen Schminke. We are the only volunteer board that you must have. Don't know if you know that or not. And to explain some things to you about what this board does and why you have to have a board, don't have to have me, but you have to have a board. In every one of the code books that we have to follow, in chapter 1, a few paragraphs in, it has something, and this is from the International Residential Code, which is used to build homes. In order to hear and decide appeals of orders, decisions, or determinations made by the building official, we're under Pikes Peak Regional Building Department, headed up by Roger Lovell. And by the way, you're going to have a chance to meet Roger Lovell here at your June 6th meeting, because we've got some code changes coming up that you're going to have to vote on. Relative to the application and interpretation of this code, there shall be, and is hereby created, a Board of Appeals. So if we don't have a Board of Appeals, you're not complying with the code. That's why we have a Board of Appeals. And we call it, Board of Review. We call it Board of Review because the city of Woodland Park already has a BOA, Board of Appeals, and we just changed it to Board of Review. The Board of Appeals shall be appointed by the governing body. That's you guys. I've been on the Board of Review since its inception in November of 2013. That's 10.5 years now. And shall hold office at its pleasure. You could fire me tonight. I can't do a thing about it. That's your call. But we meet when there is a variance request. We meet when there is a change to the codes. We approve it. It gets submitted to council and you vote on it. We're kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like I said, we've had no appeals in 10.5 years. I'm quite proud of that fact, because we have to keep the permit holder and Pikes Peak Regional somewhat happy. You're welcome to come to our meetings. I know some of the people on the dais have been to some of the meetings when we had to implement brand new regulations. So we take our oath of office on that board as seriously as I hope everybody in Woodland Park that's been elected or appointed to something takes their oath of office. So we have to follow the Constitution. We have to follow what comes out of the state legislature. And my time is up. Okay, thank you. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of quotes. Give me liberty. No, that's a different guy. As a public servant, you should always strive to do the right thing. This comes from Dan Williams, County Commissioner. And Dan also said something else, government by the people and for the people. And we try to keep these two things in our mind as we hold our meetings. And I hope you do as well as you go forward in your new roles here. It's not easy. I've been accosted in City Market when somebody came up to me and accused me of being an agent of the UN. Why? Because our code body is called the International Code Council. The only country that uses these codes, the only country that wrote these codes is the United States. They had hoped that they could get them adopted worldwide. Didn't happen. But because of that one word, international, they thought these codes came from the UN. There's nobody on the UN on any of the ICC code committees. And I think, if I remember correctly, Mayor Case, Councilman Nakai were at one meeting when we were rolling out all the code changes that came down from the Gold Dome up north in front of a very hostile building audience. These were contractors, subcontractors, and they weren't happy. I don't blame them. But nonetheless, we had to follow the law. So that's what we do. You're welcome to come to any of our meetings. We'll probably have one within a month to go over some changes to the plumbing code, the electrical code. You're always welcome. And again, congratulations.
and I look forward to continuing to serve on the Board of Review.
Thank you, Mac. Anyone else, Suzanne?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, off to unfinished business. Item 7A, discussion and selection of council members as liaisons to the various boards and commissions. Suzanne, will you could lead us, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. As council will recall, the last council meeting, we planted the seed for this discussion. And in your packets, council received all of the different boards and commissions that we're looking for liaisons for. In that same packet, it had a listing of what the duties were, what the committees were. I'm going to just run through that quickly for the public, not the duties, just which committees are available, when they meet, and how many liaisons we need. So the first committee is the PPACG, which is the Pikes Peak Area Council of Government. And that committee meets the second Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. The next committee that we need a liaison for is the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee, and that meets the second Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. Then there's the Utility Advisory Board, which you hear us call UAC. That meets the second Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. And that committee can have 2 council liaisons. There's also the CML, which is Colorado Municipal League Policy Committee, and that meets as needed. And that is a committee that they do have lots of meetings monthly. Lots of them are via Zoom. There's lots of legislation to read and review and to report back to the staff and the council, as well as being our voting member at the Colorado Municipal League annual meeting. There's also the PRAB, which is the Parks Recreation Advisory Board, and that meets every second Wednesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. The HPC, which is the Historical Preservation Committee, and that meets the second Tuesday of the month at 3:30 p.m. And finally, the DDA, which is the Downtown Development Authority, and they meet the first Tuesday of the month at 7:30 a.m. So what we've done in the past is this just gets open for conversation and discussion amongst yourselves. There's no voting that needs to take place. It's just a consensus. When you reach a consensus, then we will put you down and note you as that liaison. So I'm turning it over to Mayor Case now. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. So I know that you all have had some conversation and thoughts on this. Just to lead off, I was just appointed to the executive board as secretary to PPACG. And so I would just ask that I be able to continue in that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
typically a mayor anyway, so.
It typically is, and the other members of that board are mayors and county commissioners. So it makes sense, but I just wanted to be sure that was okay with you. The next one that the Downtown Development Authority. I just would like to make a proposal, if you all don't mind, just from thoughts that I have. I would like to see, or I would suggest that George would be a great person to have on that board. First of all, because of your experience with planning commission and that kind of thing, but also because you are a business owner in the district. And I think that that gives you some insight. And I know that you have a great relationship with the people in the downtown as well, both you and your wife. So I'll open that up to you all for discussion, but I just think that that's a nice fit.
Well, I'm honored by that. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Mayor.
You can call me Kelly if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you.
So you want to
Yeah,
take
happy
that
to
one,
do it.
George?
Yep, happy to
Alright.
do it.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Yeah, none.
Suzanne, that's an early morning meeting, isn't it?
Yes, that's 7:30 in the morning there, George.
Thank you.
It's only once a month.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you. The other one that I'm aware of if I may share, do you mind, council?
No, go ahead.
Is, I know that Terry has expressed interest in the Colorado Municipal League. So I think that would be outstanding. I know Terry is, Terry's retired and has time to, she used to have time. And takes an interest in the legislation, and the, CML is the lobbyist for municipal governments at the state legislature. And so I know you've expressed an interest in that, and I know that you would stay apprised and share that information with the council. So that would be my recommendation, and I'll look to the council for that.
Yeah, no objections here.
All right.
It's yours.
Now I'm gonna be quiet. I know Catherine still wants to be on UAC, but they can have two folks.
Yeah, so Jeff and I had talked about that, and I think unless anybody else has an issue, I was gonna suggest Jeff join me.
Okay. I have no issue.
More than welcome to.
It is probably the most interesting and
It's very
educational
interesting,
board
yes.
and of them all. And you will have a new appreciation for water in Colorado. All right. Keep Woodland Park Beautiful, PRAB, and the historic preservation. I know, Steve, yes, ma'am.
Well, have gone to my last PRAB meeting. It was sad, but we were happy, obviously, about the Avenger project. But I was encouraged to think about giving that up so that a new council member could learn about what Parks and Rec does. So I will reluctantly relinquish my position on PRAB, and I'm thinking Jeff would be a good.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. I'm already involved in Parks and Rec in my day-to-day life, so absolutely. If no one has any issues with that.
No, sounds
It's
good.
known as the Fun Board.
And it is fun.
Yeah. Council?
Yeah.
Okay. That leaves Keep Woodland Park Beautiful and the Historic Preservation Committee. And in the last group of council members, when we had this conversation, we had someone on the council that was very interested, active, and a retired military person. And so we created a position called the military liaison.
Military Affairs.
Affairs. Thank you, Suzanne. Liaison. And so if there's someone that would like to continue that, just speak up. So I just wanted to mention that. It's not something we have to do, but it was something we did. Okay.
And then, I think Smitty was interested in the Historical Preservation Committee based on conversations we had, so I'd suggest he be the one for that.
No objections here.
Okay. And that leaves Keep Woodland Park Beautiful. It's always last.
Can I say one more thing? So in conversations with our city manager, it sounds like there's an effort to revamp Main Street. And that's something that I would like to be a liaison for if that happens, yeah. And I guess my hope would be to bring the DDA and Keep Woodland Park Beautiful and Main Street together.
Under
Economic
an umbrella.
development stuff, yeah.
Okay. Does that mean you want to be on the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful committee? We could leave that open for the new appointee.
We can. Can I, Mayor,
Yes, Suzanne?
I want to, when you guys are done, I want to read back for the record what I've recorded and make sure I have it correct, but I didn't know if there was any further discussion on anything else.
Well, we will be soon appointing a new council member, possibly. We could hold that open and do a voluntold to the new council person or Catherine.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm okay leaving it open and going the voluntolding route.
Okay. All right. Suzanne, you want to share with us what you logged down?
Sure. I have for PPACG, I have Mayor Case. For DDA, Downtown Development Authority, I have Councilmember Jones. For For Colorado Municipal League, I have Councilmember Baldwin. For Utility Advisory Committee, UAC, I have Mayor Pro Tem Nakai and Councilmember Gear. For Parks Recreation Advisory Board, PREB, I have Councilmember Gear. Historical Preservation, I have Councilmember Smith. For Keep Woodland Park Beautiful, I have no one at the moment. We're going to leave that for a voluntold person. And then if and when we do get Main Street, I have Councilmember Baldwin interested in that position. But does
Thank you.
that, did I capture that correctly?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, council. All right, that went very smoothly. All right, item 8 is ordinances on initial postings, and we do not have any this evening. Item 9 is public hearings, and we have item 9A.
I was just,
George.
yeah, if you don't mind, I just wanted to announce that I'm gonna have to recuse myself from A and B.
Okay,
I'm not planning on leaving the dais if that's okay.
that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Is that any problem with that? Okay, thank you.
And the reason is Councilmember Jones was on the planning commission for these decisions.
Thank you, George. All right, we'll take item A first. Kings Crown Final Plat, a request by Terrence and Balid.
Padilla.
Okay, thank you. O'Malley, and that's CJ Gates. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mayor.
Mhm.
Mayor, Council, for those who haven't met me yet, I'm CJ Gates. I'm with the planning department here. So first and foremost, a final plat application is the final step in a multi-step subdivision process. The final plat document provides a map of the subject property that includes property boundaries, utility easements, and right-of-way for streets. After City Council approves the final plat document and it is signed by all required parties, it is filed at the Teller County Clerk and Recorder's Office. Per the City of Woodland Park Municipal Code, a property must be platted before zoning development permits, and in the planning department, you'll hear us say ZDPs a lot, so get used to that terminology. And building permits may be issued. So this request, the Kings Crown subdivision, is a request for a final plat to plat 11.3 acres into just one lot. The subject property is located east of the intersection of Ponderosa Way and Kings Crown Road. The preliminary plat for this subdivision was approved by City Council on January 4th of this year. The subject property is located within the Top of Paradise Master Plan and is accessed off of Kings Crown Road. The property is zoned suburban residential as seen here on the right-hand side of the slide. Again, the subject property is located within the Top of Paradise Master Plan. In 2005, City Council approved the amended Top of Paradise Master Plan, which encompassed 197.7 acres, showing 175 lots and allowing up to a total of 190 lots within the suburban residential zone district. The left-hand side of the slide is a snapshot of the master plan map, which encompasses several subdivisions, including Forest Edge Park 4th Edition, Forest Edge Park First Filing, Thunderbird Estates, and Paradise Estates filing 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10. And lastly, the Haven at Paradise, which is the newest addition that was approved within this master plan. On the right-hand side of the slide is the subject property and how it was originally planned in 2005. As you can see, it was originally planned for 8 residential lots, but it has officially never been platted. As a reminder in regards to process, in order to construct a building on a property within the City of Woodland Park, the parcel must be a part of an official subdivision. The subject property was never part of an official subdivision, and this is what the applicant is trying to achieve tonight. The first step of this process was a preliminary plat, which some of you council members saw earlier this year. And again, that was approved on January 4th. As stated, the applicants are requesting for final plat approval tonight for a 1-lot subdivision. This slide is the final plat exhibit, which outlines the property lines of the 1-lot subdivision, which is labeled the Kings Crown subdivision. Staff reviewed section 17.20 of the Woodland Park Municipal Code when reviewing this application. All the provisions on this slide do comply with the application. A full analysis was included within your staff report. Consistent with the requirements of city code, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board reviewed the preliminary plat at their February 7th, 2024 meeting. PRAB unanimously approved the Kings Crown plat with no recommended conditions. The application was referred to all the parties here listed on the slide. A public notice sign was posted on the property, and all abutting landowners within 150 feet were also mailed a letter. Staff only received one comment during the review process, and it was from our Woodland Park Utilities Department, and they said they are definitely okay with the subdivision. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 28th of 2024. After consideration of the staff report and comments made at the public hearing, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended City Council approve the Kings Crown final plat to plat 11.3 acres into one lot. And the staff recommendation is that City Council do the same. So that concludes my presentation, and we also have the owners of the Kings Crown lot here, the O'Malleys, if you guys have any questions for them.
Council, any questions for the staff?
I just have a quick, probably stupid question, but you're just planning to put one house on there, right?
That's
Okay,
correct.
thanks.
Anything else, council?
I'm just gonna crack myself up again.
Go.
Do you have room for a single person and 2 dogs? That's gonna be beautiful.
Applicants, do you have anything you'd like to share with the council at all? Mr. and Mrs. O'Malley?
Terry O'Malley, this is my wife Bee, and we moved here
Hi,
about a year
Bea.
ago. Congratulations on your recent elections and congratulations, new mayor.
Thank you.
We just love Woodland Park and we love the mountains, and this is a really beautiful piece of land. We have a great building team, including Suzanne's wife, Andre, husband, who is you're not
Husband
used to
Andre.
speaking. But we have a great team, and we just want to build a nice house and live here and be productive members of the community for many years. So hopefully you'll approve that and we'll be able to get on with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you please tell me your name again so I get it right in the future? Fadila.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He calls her Fee.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, council, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to open the public hearing for public comment. Suzanne, do you have anyone signed up?
No, ma'am.
Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council? All right, thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing. And council, either further discussion or I'll look for a motion.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
I was on Parks and Rec. Do I need to recuse myself, as we don't really approve things so much as recommend things?
I would say no, unless you feel like you've prejudged the matter.
In that case, I'd like to make a motion to approve the requests by Terrence and Fadila O'Malley. Yeah, I'll get it right someday. For a final plat to plat 11.3 acres into one lot. The subject property is located east of the intersection of Ponderosa Way and Kings Crown Road in sections 19 and 30. T12S R68W of the 6th PM in the suburban residential zone.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion, council? Suzanne?
Jones? You recuse yourself. I'm sorry. Smith?
Yes.
Case?
Yes.
Nakai?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Gear?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously 5-0.
Thank you, council. Item 9B, another public hearing and is also QJ, which is quasi judicial. Request by Kevin Cofford, the applicant, and Craig O'Boyle of Go Beyond LLC, the property owner, for approval of a 2-year extension of the approved Pines at Stone Ridge portion of the Stone Ridge Village Planned Unit Development, and a 1-year extension of the approved Pines at Stone Ridge preliminary plat for 49 townhomes and 20 patio homes on the 9.01 acre tracts located southeast of Ridgestone Drive and Research Drive. And that would be CJ again.
Thank you again, Mayor. Again, council, just for a little bit of background, this item consists of 2 parts that are commonly processed concurrently: a plan unit development and a preliminary plat. A plan unit development is a zone district where the developer has obtained approval from the city council for uses, which may be a combination of residential and commercial uses, and bulk standards like setbacks, building heights, etc. And that's for a specific property. A preliminary plat is one of the steps in the subdivision process when the proposed map of the subdivision is reviewed for overall lot layouts and streets, public spaces, and general conformance with the city regulations. Initial approval of these application types is for a limited time period, and it is not unusual for a developer to request an extension of said approvals. Maybe. The subject property is located southeast of Ridgestone Drive and Research Drive, as seen here on the vicinity map. The original preliminary plat for this development was approved with uses allowed for a total of 77 dwelling units, which included 58 apartment units and 19 patio homes. In 2022, the property owner applied for a PUD amendment to allow for townhomes instead of apartments. It was an integrated design with 20 patio homes and 49 townhomes intermixed. The lot sizes for the patio homes are a minimum of 3,581 square feet, with the average being around 4,672 square feet. Townhomes have a minimum lot size of 1,862 square feet, with an average of 2,452 square feet. The anticipated building footprints are 2,185 feet for patio homes and 1,287 for townhomes. The application was approved by Planning Commission on April 14th of 2022. Here on the screen is a snapshot of this approved final development plan. The current request from the applicants is a 2-year extension of the approved PUD master plan and a 1-year extension of the approved preliminary plat. I would also like to mention that on January 16th of 2024, the City of Woodland Park Planning Department issued a grading and infrastructure zoning development permit, which means that the developer is now okay to start moving dirt and put in an infrastructure. But as far as we know, construction has not commenced. The application was referred to all parties listed here on this slide, and staff received no comments. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 28th of 2024. After consideration of the staff report and comments made at the public hearing, Planning Commission recommended that City Council grant the 2-year extension of the planning development and the 1-year extension of the preliminary plat, and that approving the resolution should clearly state that development is subject to all of the conditions and dimensional standards specified within the original approval. And this concludes my presentation, Council. And I believe Craig O'Boyle is on Zoom tonight, Eric. If you could look out for him, and if you guys have any questions for myself or Mr. O'Boyle, we'll answer them.
Council, do you have any questions of staff?
No, I just have a comment. I just wanted to make sure I understood this. So the original PUD was for 77 total buildings, and now we're going to 69. Is that
Correct. So yeah.
So it's 8 less.
Correct. Yeah. So the original was 77, and then in 22, council approved the
Okay,
lesser.
I just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Correct.
All right. Does the applicant have anything that they would like to share with the council?
Hello, this is Craig O'Boyle. Can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have anything particular to share that CJ didn't cover unless there's specific questions for myself.
Council, do you have any questions of the applicant? Well, thank you, Mr. O'Boyle, for joining us this evening. And you can stay with us if you'd like. Something may come up.
Sure, no problem.
All right, council, I will open the public hearing for public comment on item 9B. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council? Yes, ma'am. If you join us at the podium, please. And your name and the city of residence, please.
My name is Carmen Rhoda, and I'm a resident of Woodland Park. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask this question, but can anybody tell me how many units are in the works? I mean, those that are on the books, you know, being worked up, and those that are under construction at this current time? Or should I ask this of the Planning Commission?
Are you speaking about the project in and of itself?
All
Just
of
in
the
the project?
projects. I would like to know how many are in the works to come on board, say in the next 2 years,
For all of Woodland Park.
all the projects.
Do we have that information?
We don't have that information right now, but if I can get your contact information, and we can connect
Yeah.
maybe next week sometime and go over that.
Yeah, not just yours, but I mean, there are others, apartment buildings that are just finishing up with, look to me like hundreds of units.
Okay.
Mayor,
And I'd
this
like
is,
to know-
Mayor, this is QJ. We have to just talk about this item only.
That's correct. Thank you, Suzanne, for breaking in. We have to stay on subject because this is a quasi judicial item on the agenda. So we are only allowed to speak about the project in itself, please.
Okay.
All right.
One other comment.
Okay.
Do you have agendas to hand out as we come into the meeting here?
Were there not any on the back counter back here? There are some at the
I
very
didn't see
back
them.
there, ma'am.
I didn't see them.
That's where we leave them for
Okay.
future reference.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Anyone else wishing to address the council? All right. Thank you. I'll close the public hearing. And council, any further discussion? If not, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion then to approve the request by Kevin Cofford and Craig O'Boyle, Go Beyond LLC, for approval of a 2-year extension of the approved Pines at Stone Ridge portion of the Stone Ridge Village Planned Unit Development, and a 1-year extension of the approved Pines at Stone Ridge preliminary plat for 49 townhomes and 20 patio homes on the 9.01 acre tracts located southeast of Ridgestone Drive and Research Drive.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Suzanne?
Thank you. Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you would like to just connect with CJ, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer your question offline. Thank you. Item 9C, public hearing for ordinance number 1473, series 2024, and ordinance adjusting expenditure appropriations for the various funds. And I will look to you, Aaron, for this one, please.
Thank you. This is the $150,000 grant supplemental appropriation that I brought forward at the last meeting to give $150,000 grant from the DDA to Netco. At the last DDA meeting on April 9th, the DDA decided not to approve the supplemental because they wanted additional information from Netco regarding their top priority. They originally had designated the funds specifically for a fire engine, and now they'd like to know if they would rather have a training tower. So I would ask that we continue this hearing until the May 16th meeting so that the DDA can have their next meeting and make their approval.
Thank you, Aaron. So I will open that public hearing so that on the record, we're opening the hearing and look to council to give a motion to continue this public hearing to May 16th.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for ordinance number 1473 as written to the May 16th, 2024 meeting.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, Suzanne.
Thank you. Mayor, for clarification, was that Councilmember Gear that seconded that?
It was, yes.
Thank you. Case,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, council. That takes us to item 10, new business, which we have none. And we are on to reports. So bear with me. I have a few things to talk about. First of all, I'd like to, while I'm at it, and it's fresh on my mind, announce the 22nd annual citywide cleanup. You can volunteer to pick up litter and clean up our beautiful city to help keep Woodland Park clean and beautiful. It's been a hot topic tonight. It is Saturday, June 29th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Memorial Park. Free food, music, and games. Don't forget to bring your reusable water bottle, sunscreen, and gloves. Check-in starts at 8:30 a.m. This is a save the date notice. All ages are welcome. Registration and more information is coming soon on the website. And anything else, council, on that one? Everybody help get our city clean and beautiful again. All right, community events. The city is excited to announce that the Centennial Trailhead Cabin is now open for art classes. Art class such as candle making, finger knitting, creative chill, a paint and sip class, and painted gourds will be offered. Check out the Parks and Rec website for more information on registration dates and times. Next, the Parks and Rec department is busy. Registration deadline for K through 9th grade co-ed baseball is on Monday, April 22nd. Registration deadline for 3rd and 9th grade girls softball is April 26th. Registration for all summer programs and camps are wide open. Camps and classes for tots to 8th graders. Reach out to Parks and Rec if you have any questions. On May 2nd from 11:30 to 1 p.m. at the Ute Pass Cultural Center, the Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce will be hosting an active shooter training for their Chambers Lunch and Learn series. The trainers will be from the Woodland Park Police Department. There is a light lunch served and the event is free, but registration is required. So check out the chamber website for those details. Thank you, Debbie. Save the date for the annual citywide cleanup, as I told you already. Again, more details will be on the website soon. And I had a community member reach out to me and ask me to bring something, inform the city council and all of the community that the Senate in Denver will be considering the bill of state zoning mandate for higher density in residential areas. She has shared that this is another attack on local control. She wanted you all to know about that so that you could participate and just know that that's happening. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Nakai.
I have nothing.
Miss Terry?
Terry. I was going to give a lengthier report on Parks and Rec, but I think the biggest announcement is that we're closing on the Avenger property tomorrow, which is pretty exciting. So thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, everybody. All right, Jeff.
First off, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank the Community Partnership for their time this evening and presentation for the April Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'd also like to congratulate Catherine Nakai on her nomination to Mayor Pro Tem. At Parks and Rec, first of all, I can't talk. Second of all, many of you may or may not know that I'm head umpire for Parks and Rec baseball, and we need help. So I just want to appeal to the community, anybody who's interested in learning how to become an umpire, wants to be an umpire, please reach out to Park and Rec. It's a program we're really trying to build. You know, we're working right now with the high school baseball team to try to help get, some of the freshmen to kind of help us out, and anyone in the community that would like to get involved with that. It's really something that we're trying to build. Same thing on scorekeepers. We got some trainings coming up. We're still trying to finalize the date, but if you just like to come and watch baseball and, help us keep score, we would certainly appreciate that help. Scorekeepers are paid $14 an hour. So if you're just looking
Wow.
for a little bit of extra income, we'd certainly love to have it. And, that's it for me.
Thank you. George?
Yeah, I too wanted to thank Community Partnership for coming here tonight. We also, most of us, there was a good majority of us that attended the Summer Fest this past weekend, which was spectacular. And it was a beautiful weekend to be out and about. Believe the numbers I heard, Jody was supposed to text me, but I believe the numbers were somewhere around 200 families and children registered for certain events and over the summertime. So it was a smashing success.
Outstanding. It was wonderful. Smitty,
Yes,
do you have anything to report to us tonight?
I sure do. The Teller County Freemasons are offering 4 marching band scholarships to students at the high school that are entering 9th through 12th this coming fall. The band camp will be up at UNC and will be instructed by the UNC band instructor up there and his staff and students. The students that come from Woodland Park will have free room and board, 3 meals a day for a full week. At the same time, they'll be putting on 3 different concerts, and the big finale is to walk in the big Greeley parade that they have every 4th of July. Now, these are $400 scholarships going to 4 of our high school students, which we sent 4 last year and they loved it. So just put that out there. If you know any band kids, tell them to get a hold of Mr. Hemmingson or Ms. Garcia, or shoot me an email and we'll get them set up.
Thank you, Smitty. You can find his email address on the city's website, on the
Yes.
council page. Anything else? City Attorney?
Yes, I have a couple of things, just both related to the lawsuit that was filed against the city. Just what we could share publicly at this point in full transparency. So at the last meeting, the public was informed about the lawsuit filed by the city against the city by the Teller County Short-Term Rental Alliance, an unincorporated association. We do not know yet who the members of those group or who the individual plaintiffs are. CIRSA, the city's self-insured pool, has retained Andrew Ringel from Hall & Evans, a law firm in Denver, as our litigation defense counsel on this matter. That special counsel litigation attorney waived and accept service on April 16th. That means the city now has 21 days after April 16th, which is May 7th, to answer the complaint or otherwise submit responsive pleadings. That leads me to explain generally about the purposes for executive session. They're generally they're an exception to the general philosophy of the openness of the open meetings law, also known as the Sunshine Law. It's an executive session of the city council. The mayor and city council are the only required members to attend. And beyond that, it's very limited who else is attending. City manager, city attorney, city clerk typically are. And then if there are any other subject matter experts that would help you make the decision. The policy basis for executive session is a recognition that the public interest of all the city is best served if certain specified matters are discussed in private. The Colorado Revised Statute specifies the only limited permitted bases for executive sessions. That includes legal advice from the attorney, discussion of real estate transactions, personnel matters, and instructing negotiators. And then just to reiterate why it protects the public interest, because this is a good example in a lawsuit that's has a lot at stake against the city. You want to make sure that negotiations and that type of thing are held in private because someone has sued the city. So we wouldn't want that to be released. And another example is a real estate sale. You would want to instruct negotiators in private and not let the maybe like a seller of a real property to know. So those are examples of how it actually serves the public interest to have executive sessions. And then just a reminder that no final decision can be made within executive session. The open meetings law is clear on this, so any final decisions are made within a public meeting. Any questions?
Thank you. And city manager?
Yes. I have a fresh sales tax update to share tonight. Too many tabs open here. Here we go. All right, so I have the February sales tax received in March. And we were up 4.3% year to date and 4.7% in March. So right now we've collected 1,159,000 in sales tax. We're up $47,000 over last year so far. And then for lodging tax, so far this year, we are down 9.8%, but February surprisingly was up 4.4%. So we've collected 31,184 this year, which is down $3,374. And you can see on the chart here, the dark or medium gray line is 2024. So we were just slightly above last year, and it's getting a pretty significant gap between the 2 years, because now we're up probably, I think, about 7.5% over 22, and we were up about 4.5% over 23. And then lodging tax has continued to just be up and down every single month. It's very sporadic, but it is kind of holding true that we've been about, I think we were 5% down in December, and we were about 10% down in November. So it's following a trend line of being down a little bit over the last few months. And that's all I've got for you. And I don't have
Aaron,
anything
remind
else.
me, these numbers are net of what passes through to the school district, correct?
This is the 3%, correct?
Okay, thank
Yep.
you. Okay. With that, this meeting is adjourned.